Hello, I'm Najib Alami, Realtor with American Home Agents. The video that you are about to watch is an interview featuring Evan Gilbert, the manager of American Financing's Credit Care Department, and Sami Kahale, a senior mortgage consultant. The purpose of the interview was to discuss the importance of utilizing the Credit Care Department's services and to hear inspiring stories of individuals who have successfully built their credit and achieved their dream of home ownership. The video highlights the significance of the Credit Care Department in helping individuals improve their credit scores and overall financial well-being. Evan Gilbert explains the resources and assistance provided by the department, including personalized credit analysis, credit counseling, and tailored credit improvement plans. In the interview, you will hear the transformative impact of the department's work on people's lives, with real success stories of overcoming credit challenges and finally being able to purchase houses. The interview aims to inform and educate viewers about the services offered by American Financing's Credit Care Department, empowering all to take control of their financial future and realize their home ownership dreams. It will showcase the dedication of the team and the positive outcome they have helped clients achieve. Overall, the video promotes the message that with the right guidance and support, individuals can overcome credit obstacles and achieve their goals of home ownership. Enjoy. All right, everybody, check it out. I have Evan Gilbert with us from the Credit Care Department of American Financing. Evan is a manager of the Credit Care Department. Sami Kahale as the loan officer, and if my clients have credit scores that meet certain requirements, this is the go-to guy.
Evan's awesome. He's helped me tremendously with a lot of my files. Last month I had like 4 or 5 files, I think. And honestly, it's not just a matter of like certain things as a loan officer. I can do those credit simulations and things like that he does. But what he does, he takes it a step further, communicates with my clients, make sure we're getting all the right documentations, and then doing the rapid rescores to make sure that the scores are in play to be able to get the deal done in a timely manner. So it works tremendously.
That's awesome. Evan, tell us your story, man.
So I've been in American Financing since February of last year. Came here to fill a need after COVID. Most lenders kind of had pick of the litter as far as borrowers went and turned down what I would consider a lot of good borrowers because they could take an 850 credit score, and if somebody didn't have that, then they got kind of pushed to the wayside. We're in this post-COVID market where we have what I call is the underserved market. All these borrowers who kind of got left after, during COVID, couldn't refinance, couldn't do their cash outs, couldn't purchase, whatever they were trying to do. And, that's where I step in. I came here to fill that void. I've been in mortgage for years. I had worked for another company where I built a similar department to what we do here to still serve that community, to fill that gap.
So you built the department?
Yeah, so I came in and built this from the ground up. It's it's something that they had tried before and it didn't really take off. What I bring to the table is my background's in processing, underwriting, loan officer. I've worked in all different areas of the mortgage process.
Here in Colorado?
No, so I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, but I come out here often, try to meet with people face to face if need be.
And that's how you met Sami.
Right, yeah, that's how.
Sami's been here for a while.
Yeah, I've been with American Financing since 2013. I've been in the mortgage industry since 2001. Prior to that, I've been in banking. So I got in the industry through my brother and never looked back. I think it was just something, it just clicked. The biggest thing for me was just the ability to help people get into a home. And I loved when I deal with a lot of clients who didn't think they would qualify or didn't think it was a possibility, and then, work with them and find ways to get it and make it a reality, right? And a lot of times I'm able to help, but when it comes to credit, there's so much involved with credit, and that's why the partnership between me and Evan makes it very feasible to get the client. As long as the client's willing to put the time, effort, and energy into it, we can make it work. Right.
Yeah, that really is the key point, the client being ready and willing. What other lenders may offer is just a plan of this is what you can do and your score may go up. And I don't really believe in that. What we offer here at American Financing is education. Explaining to a borrower why something works, what needs to be done so that they can set themselves up for success now as well for the future. So that they can continue to, enjoy the home ownership and, as they move and their family expands and they need a larger home, they don't have to be afraid to apply or look for a house because they know that their credit's taken care of. A lot of the borrowers I work with haven't had the opportunity to be educated. They don't know what they're doing is wrong, or they don't know a better way that they could be going about it because no one's taken the 5 minutes it takes to sit down and say, this is where you're at, this is how you got here, and this is how you can be better, and this is how you can stay out of this. And that's a lot of what we do here at American Financing is we not only build a plan for the immediate solution of, hey, we need this closing, we need this house, we're trying to buy for the first time or whatever it is, but it's more so the long term. What does that look like? What happens after you close? Because a lot more happens after that, right? We got to buy furniture, we've got to get a car sometimes, these things happen. And all of those steps also involve credit. So if we can fix it now, if we can help you now, then you will be ready for all these next steps. And then when it comes time for expansion or upgrading or whatever it is, we're ready and willing to help you again, and you're on a much better spot. And so that's kind of my vision. That's what I've imbued into this entire department. That's what any of my credit care specialists, the ones who do a lot of the calling with the customers and that customer contact, they've been trained and educated so that they can help borrowers, achieve their long-term financial goals, not only their immediate needs.
You're like a credit care coach.
Basically. Yeah. For like a lot of our borrowers, it's not understanding why something works. So if I tell you, you need to pay this credit card down X amount of dollars, you're going to say, I don't want to do that. Most people, that's their first reaction because it's a credit card and you don't think what the benefit behind that is. But if I can tell you that if you can get this down to 29% utilization, you can see a 30-point increase in the next 30 days, then you're going to say, oh, okay, there is a benefit. And now I understand. And if you can maintain that for 6 months, you'll see another 30-point increase.
If you have really, 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 really good credit, does that mean that you can just get anything you want?
It gets you a better foot in the door, so you can see what your options are. And at that point, it may not look like what you want, right? Because if you have an 850 credit score, but you are only pulling, so much money home every month, that's also going to play a factor into. So you might not be able to get anything that you want, but it gives you the option to have options. Where not having credit or having a low credit score gives you really limited options and kind of puts you in a corner that you don't want to be in, a corner that's typically higher interest rates and additional fees, monthly maintenance fees on credit cards, those kind of things that keeps them down. So getting yourself out of that hole is possible, and you will be shocked at what you suddenly have, right? You can get approved for something you never thought in a million years was even an option. I'm very passionate about it. I love credit. It's like a puzzle, and I've figured it out. And so I just want to share that with other people.
I would love to hear a story that you and Sami have about a client or a group of clients that are just like, wow, I can't believe we made that happen.
Yeah, so we worked with a lady for months, and at first she was very hesitant of what our capability and her ability to qualify her, and now she's become a believer. She came again, worked on her credit, followed the plan, and her scores are now where they need to be to qualify, or where 6 months to a year ago she didn't. Not at all. I mean, it took a little longer than normal, but that's just because of the kind of credit she had to be able to overcome. But she's definitely overcome it. You guys re-pulled credit yesterday, and her scores are above where it needs to be. They're above the threshold. And now we've got a pre-approved.
My favorite story, so like last month, my credit care here at American Financing, assisting our entire customer base, we were able to help 39 families get to closing in that single month. Big milestone, super happy to see them closing. One of the borrowers was a first generation here from South Africa and just had gotten credit and just didn't know what to do with it, and it made some mistakes. And so worked diligently with the mom and dad and the daughter, so all three of the same family, and improved on average each of their scores about 40 to 50 points. Got them where they needed to be, got them to the approval, got them to the closing table, and they got to buy their first home here in the United States. And were at that closing overjoyed, again, not thinking that it was something that they could achieve, because they came here and right out the gate made mistakes. And when you start making mistakes, you start to feel like this is just what it is. I don't know any better, and I don't know how to fix this. But that's why you got people like Sami and myself here to say there is ways to fix this, and it's not your fault that you don't know better. Let us help you. Let us tell you.
She's gone through multiple lenders, banks, and she's got no,
right.
Like deny.
We were like the fifth lender, I think they worked with or something. Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is because everyone's like what Evan mentioned a little bit ago was like, hey, they gave her like, okay, tips,
Yeah.
minor tips, do this, and call us back when when
Right.
you're there. But no one's given her the actual full-blown roadmap, directions, from start to finish. Evan takes the time, him and his team takes the actual time, runs the scenarios, the simulations, and then actually walks them through that roadmap.
Let's say I have a client and her name is Rosemary. And Rosemary, she's been living in Colorado her entire life, but she came across some situations in her life where her credit score fell. So she comes to me. I call Sammy up and I say, hey, Sammy, I have Rosemary right here. She wants to buy a house. She wants to make changes in her life.
Sure.
But she needs help. What do you guys do?
First things first, before I even get Evan involved, I have a full-blown conversation with Rosemary, trying to figure out her wants, needs, and goals, what she's hoping for, trying to qualify for. And then I do the application, run the credit. There's some issues credit-wise that I automatically can tell that I need to work on this credit. I then get Evan to analyze and review the credit report. And then based on what we determine is the best approach, then I would communicate that to Rosemary. And if she's willing, able to put the time, effort, and energy, and sometimes it could even be a little bit of money, then we'll get Evan's team to go, to get involved,
right,
to kind of like walk her through that roadmap that I was talking to you guys about.
Yeah. Sammy or any of our mortgage consultants, our loan officers are all pushing as hard as they can to see what are your options now, right? Because Rosemary is in need now. So, and she may think that she's in the worst position possible, and then comes to us and we're like, hey, it's not that bad. It could be a little better, but it's not that bad. Hear what your options look like now. And then she can have that conversation with Sammy, and they can determine between the two of them, are those options actual options? Will they fit her budget? Will they fit what she needs? Do we need a little bit more in the purchase price? Do we need maybe a little bit lower payment? Or what are we trying to fit? So it might not be, I just don't qualify. It just may not be, those options don't fit what I need right now. So I can get involved in a lot of different situations. But, whatever that looks like at the end of that conversation, or either Sammy says, hey, we just need to work on credit a little bit, or the borrower says, hey, I don't know that this fits my box and I might need a little bit more here or there. I do a full review of the file. So I look at the file a second time just to make sure all of our T's are crossed, I's are dotted. I dig really deep into credit to understand their credit history first. So me looking at a credit report, trying to get a snapshot of where they've been and what's got them to the point that they're at now. So let's say they're like a 550 credit score. Well, why do you have a 550 credit score? I don't care what the bureaus are telling me why. I want to see what happened. And, I can look at someone's credit and I can see on 6 different trade lines in 2019, we had late payments. So we had a hard patch. We had a rough patch in 2019, and we've been trying to dig ourselves out of that. And then now we're going to take that information and what can we do to improve that? Do we need to establish revolving credit, like open a credit card? Do we need to pay down some of our existing debt to get us to, some better thresholds? I build this whole plan. And then at that point, Sammy's had the conversation with the borrower of getting them on board saying, hey, we want to do this. We've got this free service. It's free. There's no charge to you. We're here to help you. And they say, yeah, sign me up. So myself or one of my team members will reach out to the customer. And our first question out the gate is, do you know what your scores are? They oftentimes will say, I have an idea, or I know what my mid score is, but I don't really know what everything looks like. And then, so we'll, go over that, and then we'll say, do you know why your scores are this? And then say, well, I had a couple of late payments or whatnot, and we'll try to fill the gaps in for them to understand why they're at where they're at. Because that's the first point, right? And then at that point, we say, this is how we come out of that. This is what that looks like. And this is why it's going to help us get out of this. We work with the borrower. We follow up usually on a weekly basis just to see how things are going. And
that's the coach.
Yeah, and it's the coach piece. And so, in my desire is to never put, and everyone here at American Financing, this is why I love this place, is because we have no desire to put a borrower in a bad position. So if they tell me, if I call them and they say, that's not tangible right now, I'm not going to just throw my hands up and be like, okay, I'm done. I'm going to say, well, then when is it tangible? Can we do this over 3 months? Maybe paying $1,000 down on your debt can't be done right away, but we can do this. We can spread the payments out. We can do this over 3 months. Let's see what we can do then. Like I'm not giving up, and when we get to that finish line, we get that improved score, and then I can hand over, this nice now shiny loan back over to Sami, and Sami can say, hey, these are your new options. Does this fit the box?
As a reminder, I had a client who went on the contract on a Richmond new build.
Oh, wow.
And obviously, I think the time frame took about 8 months, 9 months to build.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they got closer to that time frame, she made mistakes on her credit. Her scores dropped to about 575.
Mm-hmm.
Richmond is extremely, again, nothing against Richmond, but they're a more conservative lender.
Right.
So they couldn't help her. So she started looking around for lenders who can help her. She came to me. At 575, I was able to get her pre-approved, but required her to put 10% down. For her and her family, that was something that was not feasible.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I got Evan involved,
Mm-hmm.
and you wouldn't believe it. You know what it took? Is to her to open a credit card, which Evan recommended, and then charge $10 on it.
That's it?
That was it.
Yeah, go to the gas station, buy a Coke. We'll look at your credit in 3 weeks, and then we're over the threshold where we need to be to do 3.5% down.
Wow.
She charged $10. Let me and Evan know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you did a rapid rescore, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden we went from her being at 575. I think her scores boosted up to 595 or 600.
She was like right out of 600.
Just from buying a Coke.
Yeah. Yeah. $10 and a new credit card.
Went from having to put 10% down to 3.5% down.
That's
Mhm.
amazing.
So it went from being unfeasible. She's about to lose. She's been 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
Like anticipating the moving date and everything, and went from like, oh, I can't buy this house. I'm about to be like denied, and I'm about to lose my earnest money.
Right.
So now we got the loan done and got it done in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you got a Coke.
Yeah. That's awesome. So for our viewers out there, if they're wondering like, how can I fix my credit score? How can I get into buying a house? What steps do they need to take to improve their life, improve their credit score, and achieve their dreams?
It's all situational based. So everyone's credit report is unique to that person. The credit bureaus are like a library of information of things that you've done in your financial history. And everyone does different things. So if I say that so-and-so borrower can do X, Y, and Z, that doesn't mean that the next person can do the same thing. My recommendation is, seek advice, seek help. I'm the expert, Sami's the expert, you're the expert. Reach out to us, say my interest is, my goal, my dream is to buy a home, and I need some help, and I've got some cash on hand, and I just want to know what the next thing I can do is. That's going to be way better than trying to go off on your own and figure it out, and then come to us and then be maybe a couple cents short.
First things first, just call me. I'll do the application with you, go through everything line item by line item, and go through everything that you need to know and what you can qualify for. And if there's any issues with credit, I get Evan and his team involved, and then he'll go through that with you. And then we'll put a game plan in place, a roadmap to getting you pre-approved. So we'll work a plan from start to finish. Let's walk you through this. Here's the roadmap. I'm your Google map.
And here's our coach.
Yep.
Guys.
Yep. And again, just because at this minute, no, it doesn't mean it's a no forever. But as long as you're willing, able, and put the time, effort, and energy into it, we'll get you there.
The biggest advice I can give to a borrower who's struggling with credit is to put the shame aside. Because there's a lot of shame that people feel when they have low credit scores or where they're at. But at the end of the day, it's not their fault. We have a lack of credit education in our school systems. We have a lack of resources available to adults for them to have an understanding, and that most loan officers with other lenders that they may work with don't have the patience. They look at borrowers as numbers, not as people. And because of that, now they feel shame because they can't get help and they don't want to apply, or they don't want to ask, and they want to go and try to do things on their own. Life happens. I had a 498 credit score at one point, and now I'm up and I'm getting up to the 800s now. So, I've lived it, and that's why I say no shame, because you can get out of it, but seek help. Let us help you.
Speaking of that, the most important thing is to make sure you're getting advice from the right people and not from friends and family, or also in a situation or Google. Just make sure you're seeking help from the experts, not people who do this on a day-by-day basis, and people who have a proven track record. I think you mentioned Last month you helped how many people?
39 families.
39 families who would not be homeowners today if they didn't follow the path.
Reach out to us. We'll make sure that we take really good care of you. All you got to do is just give us a call. Thank you very much, Evan.
Of course.
It was a real pleasure, Sami.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye.